right, welcome to Survivor Part 3. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. Today we're talking about the freedom from the fear that's killing me. Now I want to talk about the two fears. Pastor Butch, maybe you can expand on this a little bit, but the fear of God is a healthy, healing kind of fear. That's a wonderful kind of fear that we all want to have in our lives. The fear we're talking about today are the fears that are killing us. They paralyze us. They kind of get us upset and uptight. And
make the blood pressure go up, give us anxiety.
That's exactly right. And they kill us.
Yeah.
They actually do kill us if you look at some of the studies. So we want to kind of talk through those fears and see how we can combat those. But if you've got your notes there, Psalm 3, 1 through 8 is the passage that we're looking at. And I think you're going to find this passage very healing and helpful. And so take a look at that if you don't mind. All right, so the 4 steps to freedom, number 1 is face my, wait for it, not fears, face my God. Pastor Butch, what do you see there that is helpful?
Well, you know, we always talk about facing our fears, but the truth of the matter is what we really need to do is look to God. And the verses there kind of talk to us about it. But you, O Lord, are my a shield around me. Wow, the protection we get. And we see that this all over again, you know, that God promises there in Deuteronomy 31 that he's not going to abandon us. But that's the one place that we know that we got to face. We got to face God because he has the answer. And for the question you might ask your group is, you know, where do I look for my protection? Who do I face? Where do I look for my protection?
In this passage that you guys just read, Psalm 3, David is running for his life. So fear is a reality at the moment. And if you notice, he does face God instead of really facing any other place, you know, and he found the right perspective.
Okay, the second point to freedom is exchange my glory. And what we're talking about here is we recognize that God is our glory, but we sometimes exchange it for other things. What do you mean? What are we talking about when we talk about exchanging our glory?
You can find glory in possessions. You can find glory in other people, right? And any other examples that you come up with?
Well, you might find your glory in your job.
Right.
I mean, there's a million things, but the point is if your glory is not in God, you're going to have problems. And so that's the question we would like you to discuss as a group is, you know, where have I put my glory?
All right, point number 3 is celebrate my substitute. And Pastor Butch, would you like to expound on that a little?
Well, you know, the thing about it is that Christ is our ultimate substitute, but we make all these substitutions in our life. We substitute things in all areas, and they cause anxiety. But what we really need to do is recognize that we are totally dependent upon God, and we need to celebrate that. And here again, the verse, you know, it's neat that when we look at, we think that David, when he was making this psalm, he was thinking about Genesis 15:1 when he says, you know, God talking to God, he says, you know, I am your shield and your exceedingly great reward. And so the question is, here again, what have we put in our substitution for God, or where do we need to substitute God for something that we put where we put something there that shouldn't be there?
Number 4, forget myself. Pastor Butch, that's a difficult ask often to forget ourselves and maybe to get our eyes on anyone else or anything else. Would you agree?
I do, but you know, it's so neat when you do get your eyes on other people and other things. It really takes out all that anxiety out of you, and I think that's the point that Bo was making. What do you think?
Yeah, by nature, we're going to fear, and certainly in our own skin and in our own flesh, fear is going to be a reality. But when we see other people, we see godliness, and then we see other people, it just seems to melt that fear away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a great question you might talk about with your group would be, what would happen in my life if I, to my fear and my anxiety, if I was to put my focus on others rather than on myself?